Welcome to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Erin.
I'm Josh, and I'm super excited because we're talking about our 10 favorite bourbons and rye whiskeys from the year 2025. This was a arduous, strenuous, large undertaking to do a huge blind tasting to rank these things. The fortunate thing for us is that when we did do this, it did back up what we thought our palates would line up with. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of commonalities that we know about our own personal preferences that fell in here. There were a few surprises, to be sure. Mm-hmm. I've got some handy-dandy notes that I will reference throughout this thing. But we had 20 samples to start with, 20 bottles, I should say.
Yeah.
And there are a few notable exclusions just because we didn't have bottles of them or we weren't able to taste them this year. We didn't get to taste every single limited edition, but within this lineup, there were 12 limited editions. 7 of those did not make the top 10. We had 2 just regular shelf bottles. Both of those made the top 10.
Interesting.
And we also, because it is our favorites of the year, we did put 6 of our own barrel picks in here, and 3 of those did make the top 10. So we'll be transparent about all that as we go through. The notable exclusions are William Heaven Hill 19 year. It was a distillery only release this year. It is an epic bottle. I'm sure if we would have had it in here, it would have been in the top 10. Blade and Bow 30 is one that's getting a lot of rave reviews right now. We did not get to taste that. Sure, it would have been in the top 10. And Mr. Sam Batch 4. These are pretty niche bottles. We didn't get to taste all of Buffalo Trace's antique collection either, but we typically tend to overwhelmingly like George T. Stagg more than all the other releases. So we did include George T. Stagg in the 20 bottles, but we will talk about some of the exclusions, some of the pours that didn't make it into the top 10. And we will also kind of walk you guys through why we selected them. I have some kind of ballpark tasting notes to let you know. And yeah, we'll talk about our scoring methodology and all that as we go. I should mention one of our favorite bottles that we tried all year long, and this was consistent from the beginning of the year to the very end of the year, was today's video sponsor, ZBiotics. And I know that seems like a really smooth transition, but we are not blowing smoke.
No.
ZBiotics is something that we rely on. You can see this box is getting awfully low, and I got an email notification today saying our subscription was on the way.
Sweet.
Because we are subscribers ourselves with our own money. We love this stuff. It is a pre-alcohol probiotic that you drink before drinking.
You take it before drinking?
Yep. You drink before drinking. This is our first drink of the night. Anytime we're going to have more than like a pour.
Yep. Anytime
we're doing anything social, we drink our ZBiotics.
And we always cheers, except when I forget.
This helps you feel better the next morning after having some pours, so cheers to that. We're going into a new year. Ain't nobody got time to not be feeling their very, very best.
No time.
So that's what ZBiotics is for. Again, a pre-alcohol probiotic that helps break down the toxic byproduct of drinking alcohol called acetaldehyde. And
look at you. You sound so smart.
There's some science behind it, and just basically helps your body process when you're having more than a pour or two.
Yep.
And helps you wake up feeling your very best the next day. That's important for us. And going into a new year, that's very important, I think, for all of us.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
If you want to get some ZBiotics and get a little bit of a discount, hit the link in the video description below. That'll save you 10%. And if you do a subscription like we do, then that can stack on top of that discount and get you even more money off. So, love ZBiotics. It is. We love ZBiotics. Thank them for sponsoring the video.
Yep.
Thank them for making a product that's so good that we can stand behind it and recommend it so strongly to you guys. Absolutely love what they're doing. Definitely a favorite bottle for this year. All right.
Let's get into it.
Let's talk about, we've talked about the exclusions.
Okay.
Let's talk about the pours that didn't make the top 10 before we get into the top 10. Okay. In dead last of the 20 bottles that we tasted, and this was the only pour, if we're being totally honest, and I'm not trying to disparage anybody, but the only pour that absolutely felt completely outclassed and out of its league was the 2025 Four Roses limited edition small batch. It scored the lowest score for both of us by a large margin.
Yep.
It was pretty... I don't know what else to say.
It was last.
Some people call it the Four Roses effect. I should say I scored on a 0 to 5 scale. Aaron is more comfortable with our thumbs up, two
down.
thumbs up.
Our normal system that you guys, if you're familiar with the channel, are used to. That's kind of where my comfort zone is. Yeah.
But we did allow you to do like 1.5 thumbs up,
Yeah.
or even do 2 thumbs up with a bonus half point,
which
as
I
well.
never did.
Correct. But only one pour got two thumbs up for you.
From me, yeah.
So that's saying something. You were being very stringent. Also, for quality control standards, we had our dear friend Justin Williams in house. He was tasting along as well. What's so funny to see is that his scoring lines up exactly from top to bottom with our top 20 in order.
Ah, interesting.
So he tracks perfectly. There's some bottles in here we'll talk about that, I know I like more than you. And so on balance, my score plus your score averaged out.
Yeah.
It didn't put the bottle as high, but maybe I ranked something higher. You ranked it a little lower.
Yeah.
I'll mention those as we go.
Okay.
But that was really the only disparity here. Heaven Hill Heritage Collection 19-year wheat whiskey. It was very good.
Was that the second to last?
That came in 18th place. I'm talking about the limited editions right now that didn't make it.
Oh, I see.
Knob Creek 21 came in just ahead of the Heritage Collection in 17th place. And then Jack Daniel's 14-year came in 14th place.
Wow.
And then
I do like the 12 better than the 14.
we typically do like the 12 better than the 14.
Historically, I have liked the 12 better than the 14.
So,
that checks out.
14th place, Jack Daniel's 14-year. 13th place, Wild Turkey Beacon. 12th place, Jack Daniel's 12-year batch 3. And the biggest shocker to me in all of this, Jack Daniel's 12-year batch 3 being outside the top 10 was a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
But the biggest shock to me was in the 11th spot before we get into the top 10 was the 2025 King of Kentucky 17-year. Now, I like King of Kentucky a lot more than you do.
That's what you would call like your favorite pour of all times. But it doesn't always do great in blinds for you.
It usually does pretty well.
It doesn't do great.
It did.
It does okay.
It scored very high for me in this blind tasting. It was in the top 5 for me.
Okay.
But it did not score well for you. Therefore,
that's fair.
It did not make the top 10. It's right on the bubble.
Okay.
So that's the bubble. Now we're ready to get into this top 10. If King of Kentucky's in the 11th spot, you know it's about to be a wild and crazy ride. Let's go.
In the number 10 spot, we have one of our picks from Nashville Barrel Company.
Again, this was blindly ranked.
Blind.
20 pours.
Davy Jones Treasure, which is 9 years, 101 proof, but chock full of flavor.
Yeah.
And when you drink it, you don't realize that it's only 101 proof.
It did not stand out as being low proof
No.
amidst a bunch of high proof monsters.
I mean, it is in the top 10.
Yeah. And I guess I should have said earlier in the video, like our preferences are, I love big, bold flavors and something that's really going to stand out. I like that. Aaron likes a little more balance than I like, but still likes flavorful pours.
I like flavorful pours, but maybe a little bit less bold and slightly more balanced, but still lots of flavor.
Yeah. So there's not going to be a lot of smooth whiskey in this top 10, but we will remark when there are things like this that are incredibly well balanced, but very flavorful at 101 proof.
And not super high proof, which is great because then you could drink more of it, right?
Yes. This scored very well for both of us.
Yeah.
And my notes on this were, it tastes like the color purple.
This was that one?
There's a heavy brown sugar note and it slaps. So
I remember you saying one of them tastes like purple.
Yeah, this right here, we put a little Davy Jones Treasure sticker on the back here. Shout out to Zach Anderson for helping with the sticker design from the Spirit of Reviews channel. Check out Zach and the Spirit of Review guys over there. They're awesome. But this bottle right here surprised a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people, it was their favorite pick that we did this entire year. It's definitely up there for us as well. Really, really love this. We love Nashville Barrel Company. We did kind of put a lot of our Nashville Barrel Company picks in this because those were our favorite pours of the year. Yeah. And we got to be true to us. This isn't the 10 best. This is just our favorites.
Our favorites.
And our palate preferences.
We drink a lot of Nashville Barrel Company picks.
Yeah, we do. In 9th place is our first shelfer. Readily available shelf bourbon. Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Tennessee Whiskey. It is Tennessee whiskey. It is bourbon. Bourbon by nature, Tennessee whiskey by choice is what they say. This stuff, we put this in here because it truly is for about $70 in most markets for the shelfer. There's no better value.
Yeah, and we really enjoy drinking it. Just price aside, price aside, it is really good whiskey.
Yeah, this particular one is 128.7 proof from Barrel House 3-09. You know, it's just a Jack Daniel's single barrel. Think about the bottles that we said didn't make it, like King of Kentucky and all those other pours.
Jack Daniel's 14-year.
Yes.
Lost to Jack Daniel's single barrel proof Tennessee whiskey. I almost said rye.
Yeah. And the 12-year. And I can actually speak to that. This, while the Jack Daniel's 14 did have the age, it had the oomph. By the way, my notes on Jack Daniel's 14 were molasses for days. And on the 12-year batch 3 was that it was a tame banana split in the group that we were working within. My notes on this were it was a punchier banana split, and it did slightly edge out the 12-year, and it brought more sweetness than the 14-year, because the 14-year was like all more that molasses and oak
and age, yeah.
The sweetness and the punchiness of this won out for us,
there you go.
And we just preferred that. I know Jack Daniel's 14 is a lot of people's whiskey of the year. Didn't make our top 10 though. In the 8th spot is a bottle that I honestly thought would finish much higher because I am very high on the profile of this whiskey right here, but this is from the Wild Turkey Distillery. This is Russell's Reserve Single Rickhouse Camp Nelson E. This thing right here is a beautiful whiskey, 128 proof. I mean, we haven't had this very long. We've been sharing it. We've been enjoying it with friends. We've been enjoying it ourselves. It's a wonderful whiskey. Notes on this were red velvet cake and also raspberry chocolate cheesecake. Very desserty, big, bold flavors. Yeah. Man, I was loving this pour so very much. It did rank incredibly high for me. This was in my top 5, but it just didn't rank quite as high for you. So your top 5 or 6 pours, your top 6 pours were rated so much higher than your 7 through 10 that's what edged them up.
Gotcha.
This was in my top. This was very near the top of my list, but not my favorite. Very near the top of my list though. But these were expensive. They were a $300 bottle if I'm not mistaken. It tastes like really special whiskey. Yeah. Only you can determine what you're willing to pay for that. I will say on scoring, this did for me finish quite a bit ahead of our barrel pick, our Davy Jones Treasure, and it did finish quite ahead of the Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof. Okay. But for you, this was lockstep with those. So yeah, that's why it ended up in the 8th spot. If you can get your hands on this or at least try a pour somewhere and you like Wild Turkey, I think you're going to really like this one. In the 7th spot, if you're still watching this video after seeing that this is in the 7th spot and that King of Kentucky didn't make it as well, or Jack 14, bear with us. All will be explained. 7th spot, George T. Stagg, 2025, Hazmat, 142.8 proof from the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. Man, this is a mega whiskey. The proof definitely shows through. Yep. This is my favorite product that Buffalo Trace makes by a country mile. You do tend to like this pretty well. The Stagg line? Yeah. George T. Stagg.
Yeah, in general, I do tend to like George T. Stagg. For some reason, did this one not hit me great?
Yeah. This was kind of on the cusp for you. Everything that's coming after this bottle scored a level up for you. Gotcha. This was my highest scoring bottle in the entire flight of 20. And it wasn't a flight of 20. It took 5 hours to do this, but this was my highest scoring bottle, period. I wrote
my highest scoring bottle is the actual winner.
Is the actual number 1, yes.
So guess who's right?
Because that was my second highest scoring bottle, but you rated it a lot higher than this. I wrote that this was the analogy I used for this, my notes in the blind tasting. What I wrote on the paper just reminded me of the story that I told in my head while I was tasting it. This is like the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote are running down the road.
Okay.
And the Roadrunner turns around and sticks a stick of dynamite in Wile E. Coyote's mouth.
Okay.
And lights it, and then it explodes.
Okay.
But then it's Looney Tunes, so they're not going to get graphic. So all you see is just fruit explosion everywhere. It is like it's a stick of fruit dynamite.
Okay.
Or fruit dynamite. I love this. It should be a $150 bottle. This is the one bottle, I say this every year. People sometimes get mad at me in the comments below. Not that I endorse secondary market, but I don't need 5 or 10 middling $100 bottles. We have enough whiskey.
We do.
I'd rather have one really exceptional bottle. This is the one bottle every year that tempts me to save up and buy it at whatever cost I can find it at, because I want to taste every single year's release. And that's just my personal preference. That's how much I like George T. Stagg. Everybody has different opinions. I would be the exact same way with King of Kentucky, but it tends to go for like 2 or 3 times what these go for, and I ain't got it like that.
Yeah.
But this is within the realm of attainability if I save up and just don't buy as much middling whiskey to be able to grab one of these every year. So take that for what it's worth. We love George T. Stagg, but Aaron didn't love it as much as I did. So my favorite pour...
The scores have to balance out. Like that's why...
They do. My favorite pour in the 7th spot, what could have possibly beat it?
Oh, you'll find out.
In the 6th spot is a bottle we don't have, so I will make it magically appear here in the middle of us. It is Calumet 18 year. This came out earlier this year. It got a lot of praise from a lot of people. There were talks of it being whiskey of the year level of bourbon. That bore out in our blind.
Pretty good.
It ranked higher than George T. Stagg for you. It ranked higher than everything we've talked about for you, including King of Kentucky and the Knob Creek 21 and all those other things.
Yeah, it did.
It is a very, very good pour. My notes were fruity brown sugar bomb. It's got fruit. It's got the brown sugar.
Yeah.
It's got the way the oak is integrated into it is incredibly nice.
Balanced.
It's an expensive bottle, $500 retail. A lot of people are finding it at like $400 in Costco's.
Oh, wow.
It's a beautiful decanter. I mean, you're seeing the superimposed image here. It is magnificent presentation. That the glass alone has to cost $100. That's got to be $100 of the price right there. I know that's crazy expensive for whiskey, but what I'm happy about with bottles like this, and then I'm going to kind of fly right in the face of, I just flew right in the face of people with like secondary pricing on the George T. Stagg.
Yeah.
I'm about to fly in the face of people who are bemoaning how expensive whiskey is getting. There's still $17.92 full proof out there. There's still the Jack Daniel's shelf products out there that can be top 10 worthy.
Yeah.
There's Rare Breed. The ceiling has just expanded to more premium offerings. And I am glad that bottles like Calumet 18 exist on the market, because let's say somebody that you know is getting married, your father's getting married, your son's getting married, somebody's retiring. We can't just go out and find George T. Staggs and Pappy Van Winkles and this, that, and the other. You can find Calumet 18. It's still out there on shelves everywhere. So the fact that it is a higher price is a bummer. Would I want it to be less money? Absolutely. Yeah. After having it in this blind tasting, am I getting a bottle? Yeah. It's already in process. It's done. Yeah.
Oh.
There's some
okay.
I get by with a little help from my friends.
Okay.
I like to help people, and
are they letting you put it on like a payment plan or something?
No, we're just making some
moves.
You're making some moves.
Okay,
making
cool.
some moves.
Okay.
But Calumet 18 is it's killer. It's great whiskey, and it's available. Bemoan the higher price tags all you want. I'll be right there with you. But what we have to realize is that special bottles like this can elevate occasions, and you can use them for celebratory pours. And I'm glad that there are distilleries out there that are taking bourbon seriously and making products like this that are available. I think that's pretty cool. So good job, Calumet. In the number 5 spot is another bottle we don't have. So I'll make it appear here. It is also another bottle that I'm actively making some moves to secure a bottle of.
You're a funny guy.
Russell's Reserve 13-year batch 6.
Wow, okay.
So
I thought you were like a Russell's 15 fanboy.
I'm a huge Russell's 15 fanboy, and Russell's 15 is better than Russell's 13 batch 6 to me.
Okay.
This has been verified multiple times in multiple tastings, but Russell's 13 batch 6 consistently performs better than Wild Turkey Masters Keep Beacon for us. It has all year long, even as recently as a few weeks back. Spoiler alert, you can check the channel history. There was a double blind head-to-head that came up. We both preferred Russell's 13 batch 6. I gave it 2 thumbs up in that. Again, spoiler alert, even at $200, I was 2 thumbs up. That's how much I like this. With that said...
And even in this flight, it fared pretty well.
I mean, it's in 5th place. That's pretty good.
Yeah, between the both of us, it's in 5th place.
Very important note, though.
Okay.
You liked this better than the Camp Nelson Single Rick House Camp Nelson E.
Which was what number?
That was number 8. Okay. So you liked Russell's 13 better than this.
Yes.
I like this slightly better than Russell's 13.
Oh.
And that sticks. Like, that bears out tasting non-blind.
So it's in a higher thing because
you scored it higher.
I gave it super high score.
Yeah, you gave it a very high score. I gave it slightly less than Camp Nelson E. So this was one of the few spots that you and I differed on the list.
But that's why this is our favorite, because we have to aggregate the scores.
Right. Yeah. So this was one of the few pours that George T. Stagg and Camp Nelson E were the 2 main pours that I ranked higher than you did, but they came in lower on the list because you ranked these other pours ahead of them. So Russell's 13 batch 6, I just wrote, it's like a cigar pour. It's rich, it's dark, it's sweet, it's got everything you want. I'm not even a cigar guy. It just felt like, I mean, it almost had like a little bit of cigar wrapper type of vibe in it. It was a beautiful whiskey. I don't know what else to say. Neither of us are traditionally Russell's 13 fans, other than the very first batch. This batch this year just seemed to bring so much more sweetness to the equation. And the consistent theme I'm hearing is that people who loved Russell's 13 up until now aren't really digging this new batch that released this year.
Interesting. And
everybody like us who was out on Russell's 13 but really loved Russell's 15, we're kind of vibing with the new batch of Russell's 13.
Is it because is it more similar to 15?
It's sweeter. It's just, to me, a more well-rounded profile. And the biggie is that they upped the proof point. It's up in the 120 plus proof range now, when it traditionally it's been 114.8.
Gotcha.
We tend to like more proof, so that's why Russell's 15 is coming, Russell's 13 is coming in the number 5 spot. Great pour. Even at $200, it's a very good whiskey, and it, even blind, holds up again and again for us. Go check that video. Number 4, surprise, surprise. This is a legendary bottle in the Stuff and Whiskey community.
Yeah, I just saw the sticker.
This is Pace Yourself. This is a barrel pick that we did earlier this year. If I can get some focus here.
It is a Nashville Barrel Company pour. Yeah. If you're not familiar with this labeling.
Yes. We live near Nashville Barrel Company, just a few miles down the street. We do a lot of barrel picks with them. We love the whiskey that they have. But you don't even have to take our opinions for it. This is a legendary bottle within our community. A lot of people have tasted this next to some heavy-hitting pours, and this has won out in blind tastings. It has regularly beat George T. Stagg for both Aaron, myself, a lot of other people.
I mean, it did for me in this flight.
Yeah. It didn't beat the Hazmat for me.
Nothing beat
the Hazmat GTS for me. But this has beaten previous year's releases of George T. Stagg. That's how good this whiskey is.
Yeah.
It is MGP, Midwest Grain Products, Indiana Bourbon. This one is 8 years old, aged for a portion of time in Nashville, Tennessee, and it's aged in Kelvin cooperage barrels. There's this magic equation that Nashville Barrel Company has with Kelvin cooperage barrels, aged in Nashville, Tennessee, with this 21% rye-based bourbon out of Indiana. It's dynamite.
It's a magic combo.
My notes on this were dark deliciousness, and I called it a Dexter pour.
Like the show Dexter?
Yeah. Like it's got some darkness to it.
It does.
It is also just really dense fruity sweetness, like dark purple fruit, some red fruit in there as well, strawberries, dates, plums, raisins, all kinds of stuff going on in here. Amazing bottle. Our community loves it as well. This is why we say barrel picks are so cool, because you can get a bottle, either whether it's us or you find a store that lines up with the palette that you like. You can get bottles that can go toe to toe and even beat limited edition releases simply by finding somebody that you vibe with and supporting them in their barrel picks. We think that's a wonderful thing. The Nashville Barrel Company, top tier for us. If you will recall, I did tell you there were 2 Shelfer whiskeys in the top 10, and in the number 3 spot is Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Rye.
So good.
Just a Shelfer.
I almost slipped up the other time when we were talking about the Tennessee whiskey and said the rye, but I knew the rye was coming up.
Yeah.
Because it's so good.
This is 132 proof on the dot from Warehouse 1-06. That is Slop Hill. We also did a barrel pick from Slop Hill. Well, we ended up picking a Slop Hill barrel for our rye selection as well.
This is not that.
This is not our pick,
just
though.
Just the Shelfer, yeah.
I just wanted to include a Shelfer. This is actually in a video that we did a while back with Jack Daniel's special release from this year, Tanyard Hill, a sample of that. But this performed well in that flight. It performed exceptionally well in our Whiskey of the Year tasting. Notes on this were a boozy strudel. This thing was like...
I mean, who doesn't love a boozy strudel?
Oh, man. It had the alcohol punch of 132 proof. It's not subtle at all, but man, it was like a flaky pastry that had been piped full of raspberry. Oh, it was so good.
Would you call this a bourbon drinker's rye?
100%, yeah. I mean, it even had, think about, you really love, what are they, the breakfast?
Toaster strudels.
Toaster strudels with the icing.
The Pillsbury toaster strudels.
And when you get cherry, what do you get?
I like the apple, but the cherry is also very good. Honestly, I like most of the flavors. Any fruit flavors. I don't like the cinnamon ones, but fruit flavors.
This is like a liquefied version of that. Like it is unreal good. It scored off the charts for you and I both. It was easily one of the best pours in the entire flight. I scored this higher than the King of Kentucky.
Did you?
Yes, I scored this, and actually I did score our Pace Yourself pick higher than the King of Kentucky as well.
Wow.
Yeah. This is, okay. I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Jack Daniel's makes the best barrel proof rye in the game. These single barrels can differ.
Yes.
That's always the single barrel caveat. We always say that. Sometimes I forget to say it because I feel like we say it so much, but there may be people watching this list that like, oh, I should go out and get this. Will yours taste exactly like this? Will it taste like a boozy toaster strudel? I don't know. It just depends. Some of these go very medicinal cherry, which I don't like. Some of these go, a little bit more rye heavy, like a real rye whiskey. I like those, but they're not my favorite profile. But they can also do this. Well,
and I feel like that's just any single barrel, not just Jack Daniel's. Any single barrel, you're kind of running the risk of it. I mean, it's going to taste different than the last single barrel, even of the same product.
And to be fair, whiskeys, batch to batch over time, you get if this were a batch product and if you bought it today and bought it 2 years from now, it's going to taste different.
Yeah.
Whiskey is more of an art than a science. You cannot replicate flavor even within the same label. You can try this yourself. Get a bottle of something right now and then buy the same product a couple years from now and taste it. They're going to be different. So even, some people like to disqualify single barrels from tasting competitions or blind tastings for whiskey of the year. We love
single barrels. That's mostly what we drink.
Here's the beauty. You find a batch product that you love, go back to that same store, buy more of it because it's going to change. You find a single barrel, go back to the store. If you love it, go back to the store, buy more of that single barrel. It's going to be guaranteed to taste the exact same as the one you love until that barrel is gone and then you're on to the next barrel. But there's a certain magic within these. And for like a $75 Shelfer bottle, it's the next couple pours coming up in the 2 and the 1 spots are not going to be as readily available as this to an extent. A little caveat on we'll get to that. But this is just available for $75. This
Yeah.
is by far the highest scoring whiskey
Available
for
whiskey.
the lowest amount of money. Like this thing, it will just wreck shop. This is a fantastic bottle. Jack Daniels is doing incredible things. I've said it before. I'll say it again. They can run their entire company and profit hand over fist with just Old Number 7 and Gentleman Jack and all their Jack Honey and Apple. And all. They don't have to be making this enthusiast-driven, geared whiskey.
Yeah.
It's not helping them really, but it is giving us
It's not
something.
hurting them, though.
Well, it sure ain't hurting us.
It's not hurt-
Maybe my wallet.
Might be your liver, too, but
Yeah, 132 proof, you might be right. But hey, that's what the ZBiotics is for.
there you go.
If you haven't checked out Jack Daniels Barrel Proof Tennessee Whiskeys and Ryes, you are doing yourself a very large disservice. This stuff is amazing. It belongs on Whiskey of the Year lists. If you get a good single barrel, this stuff is lights out good. In the number 2 spot, a label you will be very familiar with by now,
Nashville Barrel Company.
Nashville Barrel Company. This is another selection that we did this year. This one is the right stuff. And when we smelled this barrel, immediately I said, oh my goodness, this smells exactly like a
We said-
Nashville Barrel Company stuff and whiskey
Well,
pick.
those of us on the pick said this is a stuff and whiskey pick.
Yeah.
It was the first thing we tasted. It was the second. We had a warm up,
Mm-hmm.
and then this was the first official barrel we tasted, and
We all knew we tasted more things.
we
but
did taste more things, but immediately we were all like, "This is a stuff and whiskey barrel."
Yeah.
And then we tasted other things out of like the obligatory. Let's taste more to see. But yeah, this was good. This was really good.
This was, I mean, I think it's safe to say, on balance, this was our best barrel pick of the year. If you're going by flavor, ratings, all that stuff. I wrote that it was just a cherry berry medley. I mean, tons of fruit,
Yeah.
tons of oak. All the things I said about the previous barrels are true for this one as well. This one is 9 years old, MGP, 21% rye, bourbon, aged in a Kelvin Cooperage barrel in Nashville, Tennessee for a period of time. It's just magic. This thing is pure magic in a bottle. This is my favorite pick that we've ever done with Nashville Barrel Company.
Really, I did not know that.
Yes, and I have
Okay.
tasted it next to some of the previous picks,
Wow.
and I do prefer this over those.
Okay.
This thing is just lights out good. This is this along with like the George T. Stagg, the Camp Nelson E, the Barrel Proof Rye from Jack Daniels. This and our number 1, those were my top 5.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Okay.
this was locked in on. It's number 2 on the list. It was number 3 for me in the tasting because George C. Stagg was my highest.
Yeah.
But it's dynamite. I mean, we can't say enough good things about Nashville Barrel Company.
Yeah.
This is also a great time to mention again that this was a blind tasting. We had picks that didn't make the top 10. All of our picks could not have made the top 10. It's our favorite whiskey. I know if you're watching this, you're like, well, that's a single barrel that you picked and it sold out. And
Yeah.
now we can't get it and there's no way to get it. There was only 120 something of these things anyways. Well, we do barrel picks at Nashville Barrel Company often.
We do.
We actually have, well, this video's coming out on Tuesday. We have a pick releasing with Nashville Barrel Company tomorrow.
Oh.
And we picked 2 bourbons, a high rye and a low rye MGP bourbon mash bill. The Dueling Dragons pick is what we're calling them. And it very well may go toe to toe with this one and some of the other picks.
Yeah.
These are very, very good bottles. $150, ballpark price point, 140, 150, worth every penny. The biggest thing with these is to make sure you're finding somebody's palate that you trust. Don't
Yeah.
just take our word that this stuff is awesome. Find somebody's palate that you trust that's picking. I get this often because we do ride pretty hard for Nashville Barrel Company
We do.
over here for good reason, backed up by blind tastings over and over and over and over again. Check the catalog. We've got videos of these beating George T. Staggs. We've got videos of these beating Stagg Juniors easily. The biggest thing with these for me is that, I get messages from people in other markets saying, hey, I see a Nashville Barrel Company bottle on the shelf here in my local store, my big box store, and it's like $80, but the label looks different. That's not the same thing. They have small batch products that they make and they distribute to other markets, and they even do picks with other markets sometimes. But if you can't, I guess the small batches are good. The barrel picks from other places, who knows? You just don't know why they picked it unless you can ask them and taste it before you buy it. Find somebody whose palate you trust. Down in the video description below, we have a link to our Patreon. That's how you can get our barrel picks. If you want to get in on our next barrel pick drop, you can do so through that link. Sign up one of our Barrel Club tiers. Most of these national barrel companies don't make it past the Barrel Club tiers, down to the Discord and the supporting member tiers. Sometimes they do. And if we're dropping 2 barrels, the likelihood that they make it that far is a high possibility. But, you know, there's spots available in almost all the tiers, at least of the recording of this video. And you can get some of the best whiskey that is outscoring things like King Kentucky, Jack Daniel's 12 and 14 year.
Yeah.
Bottles like this.
George T. Stagg.
Picks like this. Well, for you, but not for me.
For me.
Picks like this are the reason why we really don't have a lot of FOMO or fear of missing out from some of the big releases every year anymore, because of really dynamite single barrels like this. So if you want to get plugged in, you want to grab those Dueling Dragons picks that are coming up, down in the Patreon, or down in the video description below, you can find a link to our Patreon. National Barrel Company just knocking it out of the absolute park, and we are super excited to do some barrel picks in 2026 with these guys as well. We got some good stuff coming for y'all. And the number 1 spot is a bottle that we don't own and we didn't get, and I'm probably not going to get a bottle of it because it is going to be extremely difficult to secure and probably very expensive. It is Jack Daniel's. Again, Tanyard Hill, their special limited release of this year.
Yeah.
It is a rye whiskey. This one was a hazmat.
This was so good. This was the only thing I scored 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
Everything else got a 1.5 or lower. This was
Yes.
the only thing that I was like, 2 thumbs up, love it, it's a winner.
This particular barrel, and they are single barrels, this particular barrel was 141.5 proof. Somehow, through the major randomization of everything, this ended up being the actual first sample that we tasted out of 20. And everybody's looking at everybody else, thinking to themselves, how does whiskey get better than this? Like,
for me, it didn't.
Yeah. And
it set the stage and nothing else rose to the level that it was at.
Yeah. The George T. Stagg was much later in the tasting, and I had to actually, once it was all over with, I did go back and compare, and I did slightly prefer the George T. Stagg, but this was right there, toe-to-toe with it. This felt like massive, impactful, paradigm-shifting whiskey. And if you go back on our channel a few weeks, you will see that we tried Tanyard Hill in a flight that also included other Jack Daniel's barrel proof ryes, and it happened to be the first pour, and as soon as I smelled it, I knew it. That was the first time I'd ever smelled or tasted Tanyard Hill. I knew it had to be the Tanyard Hill because I have never smelled a Jack Daniel's barrel proof rye smell like that. And then we tasted it, and then I was like, yeah, this game over. That is whiskey of the year level whiskey through and through. Jack Daniel's killing it. One of the craziest things about this entire video and this tasting and everything, Jack Daniel's had a lot of products in here between the 14, the 12-year batch 3, the 2 shelfers, and the Tanyard Hill. And odds-on favorites for this thing would probably be Jack 14 to win it all.
And it didn't.
And it didn't place. And I would have thought Jack 12 would have finished very high for us. And it didn't place in the top 10 either. 2 shelfers, and then their special release takes the cake. It's hard to say that...
A little high-low action.
Yeah. It's difficult to say that Jack Daniel's didn't win 2025.
I think they did.
They continue to crush it. You know, if you've had a bad experience with Old Number 7 back in the day and you really haven't given the brand the time of day in a long time, you're missing out on some really good whiskey, and you owe it to yourself to give them another shot.
That was me before we started this channel and before we started drinking other Jack Daniel's products. The best Jack I had had up until that point was Gentleman's Jack.
Yeah.
And now I've tried so much more of their products from that, and like light years, like the barrel proof stuff, light years better than the stuff I had, you know, when I was younger. So yeah, what he said, give it another shot.
Also, we like our whiskey neat, and we prefer our whiskey room temp. We just don't like cold whiskey all that much unless it's in a cocktail. But if you are a person that likes whiskey on ice, Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Tennessee Whiskey, to date, is still undefeated on ice for me
really
over
good.
any whiskey. It somehow unlocks a vanilla layer of flavor that is just amplified on ice. And I actually, I love it in the summertime. Like, it's a perfect pour, or if I'm just wanting something a little bit more chill with still good flavor that can stand up to ice. Jack Daniel's just killing the game. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Again, this is our favorites.
Yes.
We're not saying they're the best, but they are our favorites.
They're our best.
They are our best. Quite shocking. If your palates do line up with this, and you feel like these are some of the favorite pours that you've had this year as well, again, check out our Patreon. You'd probably love our barrel picks. We go to distilleries, we select barrels with our stamp of approval on them that fit our palate preferences. We're always after that little bit of je ne sais quoi, that little bit of limited edition rivaling it factor, and that's what we shoot for. I think if this list is any indicator, we're doing an okay job.
Yeah.
We're doing an okay job. So check
I'm
it out.
happy with it.
Yeah. And that's it. This is our last video for 2025. We're looking forward to 2026.
We are.
But yeah, we appreciate you guys tuning in this year.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be good to each other. And until next time.
Cheers. Man, I should have let people know I'm willing to do some pretty questionable things for a bottle of Tanner Hill Rye.
Oh my gosh, no, you're not.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Don't put that kind of stuff out on the interwebs.
You'd be surprised.